Your first line of defense on your domicile, the place where you're living, is of course your perimeter, your fencing. Now I like biosecurity. Biosecurity in the form of a dog. You can have all the alarm response you want in the living universe, but all they'll ever give you is photos of the guys who took your stuff. So generally, I believe in owning a rather large animal. If you got a dog, make sure it's a dog that would be, a little bit, well, could maybe have a chance of maybe holding off your property a little bit, if that's sort of a concern that you have. I live out here in the sticks. There's a lot of coyotes and strange animals that come wandering out of the bush. Someday it is possible that a Sasquatch could decide he was going to attack my house, and I would like to make sure that I've got a dog only able to destroy Sasquatch should he attack my house. Of course, your animal should never ever be trained to attack people, because that would be wrong. But you have your fence, and of course, a little bit of noise is always good. If someone's going to come through here, that's your first line. And if I don't hear that, you got to bear in mind this is going to be at night when you're asleep. Well, the dog is going to hear that, and then we go from there. After you've been aroused from your slumber, from your trusty animal, the next thing you want to know is, why the hell are you awake, and what's this dog barking about? So the way you figure that out is through optics, and thanks to the readily and cheaply available webcam, you can set one of these little USB bad boys up to give you an outside surveillance picture of your house. You can get pretty advanced with this. You can get an infrared flashlight, little infrared spot, so that nobody can see that you're looking outside the house, and you get a very clear picture. That way, if there is a guy running around, of course he's not going to be running around in the spotlight because he knows that you're going to be able to see him. But if he doesn't know there's an infrared spotlight, you'll have a clear picture if there is actually someone in your yard. And that way you can make an educated and informed decision about what to do next. From the camera, of course, you've got to be able to view what the camera is seeing. Now we're getting very close to the most dangerous of male territories, bringing a computer into the bedroom. There's no way your wife is going to let you do this. So what you do is, if you're lucky as a man, you can claim either, like, say, a basement or one room in your house. Now if you're very, very lucky, you'll be able to keep at least one flat vertical surface inside of your bedroom. Now what I've done is gradually over time I've piled more and more gizmos on top of the dresser until my wife couldn't really tell what was where, until finally I've stripped it down, and all of a sudden I have a computer which I'm able to sort of hide here. It's rather black. It's good if you just kind of streamline it a bit, keep everything very neat, and then generally the wives don't get too upset. Now from this station here, you'll notice it's not beside my bed. The reason for that is because when you're lying in bed, you don't care. You could wash a mushroom cloud when you wake up out of a slumber and you'll go back to sleep. If it's serious enough for you to consult what your optics, that means you have to get out of bed and wake yourself up to the point where you walk over here, hit your indication button, and your video should spring to life. From here you can have a number of cameras going up and down the block. Very, very useful for an urban environment, especially if you live in an apartment building where you're 10, 12 floors up. You want to make sure you got a camera on your stairwells, you got a camera outside so you can see what exactly is going on. As well, any other pertinent data could be fed in here. Remote thermometers, things of that nature, barometric pressure, weather, having a web access. Thanks to the power of wireless technology, you can also make sure that, in case, all of a sudden while you slept, in case bombs go off somewhere, you got to be able to know about this sort of stuff. And that's what this center is all about. It's clean, it's discreet, looks very, very similar. You've got some gear for you to lay out for your daily, encounters, but that is really where you make your decision on whether or not you are going to run. Don't you just hate it when that happens? You're running through a parking lot, you got things to do, and there's one of these large annoying metal gates in the way. What's worse, sure, maybe we could get over it, try to kick out the top bars, but what if you got a car? I mean, really. So the way you circumvent this is quite usually all of these models are very poorly secured. Now, of course, you being an operative will always have your handy-dandy pocket knife with you. 1,000,001 uses for these things, including being a key to the city. A less suave or adept person would try to ram their way through it, but in actuality, all you have to have is a basic fundamental knowledge of how these switches work. Here's your motor, here's your gears, command and control box, and 3 exposed ports. And all those usually do is just control the power flow. So chances are, if you go up to these, take your blade and kind of connect them off and on, you can flash them and the gate goes right up. Now you're able to carry on your merry way. Take your car out, do what you please. But, again, this of course has another rule. After you drive your car out, you want to make sure that you wouldn't want to leave this parking lot unsecure to allow, less informed people access out of the building. So you come back in and repeat the same action. Takes a little practice. The sandwich. The mainstay of the lunch. Sandwiches are the art of making a sandwich is largely being lost in North American culture because, of course, we're a convenience culture. Everything is spend this, buy that. If you go to your local convenience store, your chances are you're paying anywhere between $4 to $7 for a sandwich, which you can quite conveniently make on your own at home. But sometimes people think, oh, you're sacrificing flavor if you quote-unquote brown bag it, which nobody really wants to do. So today, we're going to cover the art of making sandwiches. Now, with any sandwich, of course, the beginning of it, which is the bread. Bread is very important. Now, for true wogness, you want to make your own bread. Bread makers run anywhere from about $100 to $150 for a halfway decent one. 3 hours later, you've got your own bread where you've been able to control all the ingredients. So therefore, you can make some pretty cool, pretty rich bread. Whenever I make sandwiches, I don't just make a sandwich. I make a bunch of sandwiches. Your bread should be, should be soft. Should be the kind of bread that you want to be able to eat it straight. You don't want to buy crappy bread. There's nothing worse than the bread that's just like floaty air. You want to make sure you got like some multi-grain bread or some bread that's kind of like bread should be enjoyable. You should enjoy your bread. Go down, try some different kinds of bread, spend a couple dollars on a good loaf of bread. Why not? Makes having sandwiches, and again, the name of the game being substitution, where you don't have to buy your lunch. You want to enjoy your lunch. Look forward to it. Yeah, I made that lunch and I got that really cool bread. This is where things start going wrong. After the bread, people start screwing it up. They start putting butter on the bread afterwards. This is wrong. Okay, you put butter on toast. You don't put butter on bread. That's retarded. So the next step is the mayonnaise, the single most popular sauce in the world. You have two choices in mayonnaise. You can either go with a mayonnaise, which I'm not going to give a brand name here. Mayonnaise, generally, you buy the good mayonnaise. If you happen to be a person who eats dead animals, you get the mayonnaise made from aborted chickens. If you can get the good, really good dead baby chicken mayonnaise, that's the way to go. Spend the bucks, get the good dead baby chicken mayonnaise. If you're not so partial